everyone, this is Talk Time with Cynthia. I'm coming today. I'm gonna read an article for you guys. I found something that's pretty special to me, and I feel like it's very, very important for all of us. And I just want to give my point of view. After I'm done reading it, I'll give my point of view of how I feel about it. Okay, and I appreciate you guys staying to the end and listening at me. So, without further ado, it's from Body and Mind. I think they write articles and do some other things, but it seems like for the most part they do articles. And the name of it is How to Find Your Purpose in Life. Are you struggling to discover your purpose? That may be because you feel isolated from other people. Here's how you can overcome that. And it's by Jeremy Adams Smith. Okay, and this was written in 2018. Okay. And it says, do you have a sense of purpose? For decades, psychiatrists have studied how long-term, meaningful goals develop over the span of our lives. The goals that foster a sense of purpose are ones that can potentially change the lives of other people, like launching an organization, researching disease, or teaching kids to read. Indeed, a sense of purpose appears to have evolved in humans so that we can accomplish big things together, which may be why it's associated with better physical and mental health. Purpose is adaptive in an evolutionary sense. It helps both individuals and the species to survive. Many seem to believe that purpose arises from your special gift and sets you apart from other people. But that's only part of the truth. It also grows from our connection to others, which is why a crisis of purpose is often a symptom of isolation. Once you find your path, you'll almost certainly find others traveling along with you, hoping to reach the same destination, a community. Here are 6 ways to overcome isolation and discover your purpose in life. Number 1, read. Reading connects us to people we'll never know across time and space, and experience that research says is linked to a sense of meaning and purpose. Note. Meaning and purpose are related but separate social scientific constructs. Purpose is a part of meaning. Meaning is a much broader concept that usually also includes value, efficacy, and self-worth. In a 2010 paper, for example, Leslie Francis studied a group of nearly 26,000 teenagers throughout England and Wales. and found that those who read the Bible more tended to have a stronger sense of purpose. Secular reading seems to make a difference as well. In a survey of Episcopal Studies, Raymond A. Marr and colleagues found a link between reading poetry and fiction and a sense of purpose among adolescents. Reading fiction might allow adolescents to reason about the whole lives of characters, giving them specific insight into an entire lifespan without having to have fully lived most of their own lives. They suggest by seeing purpose in the lives of other people, teens are more likely to see it in their own lives. In this sense, purpose is an act of the imagination. Many people I interviewed for this article mentioned pivotal books or ideas they found in books. The writing of historical W.E.B. Du Bois pushed social justice activist Art McGee to embrace a specific vision of African American identity and libertarian. Is that libertarian? Oh, liberation. Journalist Michael Stoll found inspiration in the social responsibility theory of journalism, which he read about at Stanford University. Basically, reporters and editors have not just the ability, but also the duty to improve their community by being independent arbiters of problems that need solving. He says, it's been my professional North Star ever since. Spurred by this idea, Michael went on to launch an award-winning nonprofit news agency called the San Francisco Public Press. So, if you're feeling a crisis or purpose in your life, go to the bookstore or library or university. Find books that matter to you, and they might help you to see what matters in your own life. Grab a book, y'all. Grab a book, y'all. And connect with somebody. Okay, then it says, number 2, turn hurts into healing for others. Join the Purpose Challenge. Okay? And that's like off to the side. And it says, of course, finding purpose is not just an intellectual pursuit. It's something we need to feel. That's why it can grow out of suffering, both our own and others. Kezia Willingham was raised in poverty in Corvallis, Oregon. Her family riven by domestic violence No one at school intervened or helped or supported my mother, myself, or my brother when I was growing up poor, ashamed, and sure that my existence was a mistake. She says, I was running the streets, skipping school, having sex with strangers, and abusing every drug I could get my hands on. When she was 16, Kavia enrolled at an alternative high school that led her to believe I had options and a path out of poverty. She made her way to college and was especially drawn to the kids with issues, kids like the ones she had once been, she says. I want the kids out there who grew up like me to know they have futures ahead of them. I want them to know they are smart, even if they may not meet state academic standards. I want them to know that they are just as good and valuable as other humans who happens to be born into or more privileged circumstances, because they are. And there are so damn many messages telling them otherwise. So y'all cut it out if you're doing that. I don't want to judge. So sometimes another person's pain can lead us to purpose. When Christopher Pepper was a senior in high school, a trembling, tearful friend told him that she had been raped by a classmate. I confronted as well as I could and left that conversation vowing that I would do something to keep this from happening to others. So Christopher, he kept that promise by becoming a peer rape educator in college and then a sex educator in San Francisco public schools. Why do people like Kazia and Christopher seem to find purpose in suffering while others are crushed by it? Part of the answer, as we'll see next, might have to do with the emotions and behaviors we cultivate in ourselves. I believe that to be true. Number 3, cultivate all gratitude and altruism. Okay. It says certain emotions and behaviors that promote health and well-being can also foster a sense of purpose. Specifically, awe, gratitude, and altruism. Several studies conducted by the Greatest Good Science Centers, Dutcher Kaltner, have shown that the experience of awe makes us feel connected to something larger than ourselves. No, excuse me, y'all. And so can provide the emotional foundation for a sense of purpose. Of course, all, AWE, I got a southern accent, AWE, of course, all by itself won't give you a purpose in life. It's not enough to just feel like you're a small part of something big. You also need to feel driven to make a positive impact on the world. That's where gratitude and generosity comes into play. It may seem counterintuitive to foster purpose by cultivating a grateful mindset, but it works, writes psychiatrist Kendall Brunk, a leading expert on purpose. As research by William Damon, Robert Emmons, and others has found, children and adults who are able to count their blessings are much more likely to try to contribute to the world beyond themselves. This is probably because if we can see how others make our world a better place, we'll be more motivated to give something back. Here we arrive at altruism. There's little question at this point that helping others is associated with a meaningful purpose for life. In one study, for example, Daryl Van Tongeren and colleagues found that people who engage in more altruistic behaviors like volunteering or donating money tend to have a greater sense of purpose in their lives. Interestingly, gratitude and altruism seem to work together to generate meaning and purpose. In a second experiment, the researchers randomly assigned some participants to write letters of gratitude, and those people later reported a stronger sense of purpose. More recent work by Christina Kearns and colleagues found that altruism and gratitude are neurologically linked, activating the same reward circuits in the brain. So number 4, we're at number 4. And it's listen to what other people appreciate about you. Okay? Giving thanks can help you find your purpose, but you can also find purpose in what people thank you for. Thank you for. Like Kezia Willingham, Sean Taylor had a rough childhood, and he was also drawn to working with kids who had several behavioral problems. Unlike her, however, he often felt like the work was a bad end. I thought I sucked at my chosen profession, he said. Then one day a girl he'd worked with, one day a girl he worked with 5 years before contacted him. She detailed how I helped to change her life, says Sean, and she asked him to walk her down the aisle when she got married. Sean hadn't even thought about her. In all that time, Sean hadn't even thought about her in all that time. Something clicked and I knew this was my path. No specifics, but youth work was my purpose. The artists, writers, and musicians I interviewed often described how appreciation from others fueled their work. Danny Burleson never lacked a sense of purpose, and she toiled for years as a writer and social justice activist in Santa Rosa, California. But when wildfires swept through her community, Danny discovered that her strengths were needed in a new way. I found that my networking and emergency response skills have been really helpful to my community, my students, and to firefighters. Although there is no research that directly explores how being thanked might fuel a sense of purpose, we do know that gratitude strengthens relationships, and those are often the source of our purposes, as many of these stories suggest. And number 5, find and build community. As we see in Danny's case, we can often find our sense of purpose in the people around us. Many people told me about finding purpose in family. In tandem with his reading, Art McGee found purpose working for social and racial justice in love and respect for my hardworking father. He says, working people like him deserved so much better. Environmental and social justice organizer Jody Sugarman Brunson feels driven to leave the world in a better place than I found it. Because becoming a mom strengthened that purpose. It's going to be their world and their kids' world, she says. It definitely influences how I parent, wanting to raise anti-racist, feminist, racial kids who will want to continue to fight and be leaders. I love that. Of course, our kids may not embrace our purpose. Amber Cantorna. I'm trying to say this name, y'all. So I'm just calling Anna. Was raised by purpose-driven parents who were right-wing Christians. My mom had us involved in stuff all the time, all within that conservative Christian bubble. She says this family and community fueled a strong sense of purpose in Amber. To be a good Christian and role model, to be a blessing to other people. I love that too, guys. The trouble is that this underlying purpose involved making people more like them. When she came out as a lesbian at age 27, Amber's family and community swiftly and suddenly cast her out. This triggered a deep crisis of purpose, one that she resolved by finding a new faith community that helped shape her and give her a sense of belonging. She says, often the nobility of our purpose reflects the company we keep. The purpose that came from Amber's parents was based on exclusion. As she discovered, there was no place and no purpose for her in that community once she embraced an identity they couldn't accept. A new sense of purpose came with the new community and identity she helped to build of gay and lesbian Christians. If you're having trouble remembering your purpose, take a look at the people around you. What do you have in common with them? What are they trying to be? What impact do you see them having on the world? Is that impact a positive one? Can you join with them in making that impact? What do they need? Can you give it to them? There's a way, guys. If the answers to those questions don't inspire you, then you might need to find a new community, and with that, a new purpose may come. Okay? Number 6, tell your story. Reading can help you find your purpose, but so can writing. Purpose often arises from curiosity about your own life. What obstacles have you encountered? What strengths help you to overcome them? How did other people help you? How did your strengths help make life better for others? We all have the ability to make a narrative out of our own lives, says Emily Smith. Author of the 2017 book, The Power of Meaning. It gives us clarity on our own lives, how to understand ourselves, and gives us a framework that goes beyond the day to day and basically helps us make sense of our experiences. That's why Amber wrote her memoir, Refocusing My Family, Coming Out, Being Cast Out, and Discovering the true love of God. At first, depressed after losing everyone she loved, Amber soon discovered new strength in herself. Amber soon discovered new strengths in herself, and she is using her book to help build a nonprofit organization called Beyond to support gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender Christians in their coming out process. One 2018 study found that those who see meaning and purpose in their lives are able to tell a story of change and growth, where they managed to overcome the obstacles they encountered. In other words, creating a narrative like Amber's can help us to see our own strengths and how applying those strengths can make a difference in the world, which increases our sense of self-efficacy. This is a valuable, reflective purpose to all people, but Amber took it one step further by publishing her autobiography and turning it into a tool for social change. Today, Amber's purpose is to help people like her feel less alone. My sense of purpose has grown a lot with my desire to share my story and the realization that so many other people have shared my journey. So my take on this is I truly believe that things happen in your life for a reason, and those things that happen in your life, most of the time, if you are sensitive to what has occurred to you in your life, it leads you to your purpose. And especially if you have a concern that the way it affected you, and if you're concerned about how you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy or something like that, then it will drive you to the point of making this a cause or a purpose that you want to help somebody else that was in that same situation that you was in. So, and I also believe that our purpose is connected to somebody else. Yeah. But like I was saying, our purpose is my camera just had a problem. My purpose, I believe that our purpose is tied to somebody outside of ourselves, because I believe we are created for purpose, for service, for one to another. And I've said that before in my other videos. I believe that we were put down on this earth to connect with one another, and once we connect with one another, then we will know what our purpose is, and it is all tied together. It's tied to what you've been through in life, and it's tied to your trials and your tribulations. It's all tied together. And so when we neglect to connect with one another, reach for one another, communicate with one another, then we neglect our purpose and finding our purpose. So we just have to just make sure that we continue to maintain that connection with one another, and be loving and understanding, and just try to eradicate those things that you feel like that have caused you great pain in your life. So, and that's how you know, that's part of how you find your purpose in life. And just by helping people and finding something in the community that needs your help, and that somebody is trying to do, like you say, an organization, or helping kids, or daycares. You got churches, you got food pantry, food banks, uh soup kitchens. It's a lot of ways, and the more you put your hand to, the more of a possibility that you will find, okay, this make me feel good, this make me feel like everything has come full circle. And it's not hard, because I noticed that a lot of us, and I'm gonna say a lot, it's a great deal of us that we don't connect. And you look around in the world and you see people who are so disconnected from one another, and that's not how we was created, to connect with one another, because spiritually we are connected with one another. And so when we be feeling like we're disconnected and feeling off kilter, because we're not trying to come and be spiritually connect. We're spiritually connected, but we're not trying to be physically connected to one another. And we have to do that. We really have to do that, because I'm telling you, when you connect with another human being that needs you, whether it be just you, your energy, or whether it be you, your help, or whether it be oh, excuse me, guys, my throat dry when I talk too much. That's why I be saying so much that just to have a more fulfilled life. So now I've been alone, a loner, like a lot of my life. But now that I have this platform and I talk to you guys and I encourage you, me myself, I'll just randomly, and that's not me, I just randomly start talking to people and trying to connect with people and having conversation with people in the grocery store, the aisle, just wherever, it doesn't matter. At the bank, just I am determined to make this different. Because I feel like it's my purpose to. Okay, so I feel like my purpose is to be an encourager of the people. Like if I see somebody that's having a hard day or feeling down or whatever, and if I could just give a word of encouragement, like I'm a cashier and people come through my line and I'm always encouraging them and saying something that can get them out of their funk, even though I'm in my own. You understand what I'm saying? So it's better to connect, because then you easily find your purpose. So and I guess I'm belaboring that point, but let me scroll back up the page and see and get these topic and speak on the topic. So, but yeah, and so it was saying about reading, you know, and finding an experience that research says is linked to a sense of meaning and purpose. So yeah, um, sometimes when you in a small town and you never had the opportunity to leave that small town, and then you're able to read in books how the world is much more bigger than just your corner of the world. And then that alone helps you to determine your purpose, because now you're able to experience new and different things outside of, you being in a small town with one stoplight, one grocery store. Talking about me, that's where I came from. I'm talking about myself. So, but yeah, so you get to experience that, and then that also help you find, what your purpose in the plan for your life is. So, that could be helpful to broaden your thoughts and things like that. On there's it's got to be more, because some people say well, it's got to be more than this. I got to be doing more than this, and just reading will help you see and know more when you might not be able to get to the more that's out there. You can get to the more that's in a book to know more. And the way the internet is, I mean, you can have a heyday on the internet just to find a purpose or something to do that way, of reaching people that way. And then it says turn hurts into healing others. So you could be going through some stuff yourself, like a tragedy or whatever. Like the one young lady said, she was raped and the guy was like, well, I'm never going to let that happen to nobody again. Or if you, the person, was raped and you feel like, I know what that feels like, and so I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do everything also, just like the young man said, to make sure that happens to nobody else. Or if it happens to somebody, then I'm going to help them through it, because maybe they didn't have nobody help them through it. So they want to be that person that help this person or help other people through it. So you could use your hurt and your pain. Like, for instance, like I lost my husband tragically and I lost a baby. So it's just like you can use that and see if that a part of your purpose. And I know it gotta be part of passion, because your passion often leads you to your purpose. So and sometimes passions is created by pain, through pain. So yeah. Okay. And it says cultivate all gratitude and altruism. Okay. So yeah, okay, so let me see what it said about that, so I don't just say something crazy. But yeah, so gratitude, um and I'm just reading this, guys. So it says certain emotions and behaviors that promotes health and wellness can also foster a sense of purpose, specifically all gratitude and altruism. Several studies conducted by the Greater Good Science Center, Dutcher Keltner, have shown that the experience of all makes us feel connected to something larger than ourselves, and so can provide the emotional foundation for a sense of purpose. So yeah, And then it says, listen to what other people appreciate about you. Um, yeah, I think that's okay in some instances. Um, and that does help to motivate you. But I think, to me, I just feel like you have to have your own motivation, because if you're motivated by other people, then when other people stop cheering you on, then do you still keep going? Or is it something inside of you that you're going to allow to motivate you? So when the people stop cheering you on and um stop thanking you or whatever, are you going to leave a person, and you have an organization, are you going to leave that organization and leave them people hanging because nobody seemed to appreciate what you were doing? Because if it's your purpose, and if it's a passion inside of you, regardless of somebody saying thank you, you're going to do it anyway, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to love it, and it's not going to feel like you working toward nothing. It's going to feel like it's you just doing something that you love and that drives you. So yeah, it's nice for people to say thank you and show you that they appreciate you or whatever. But when you're in a, like I say, in a situation where you're dealing with rape victims and different things like that, and then you feel like you're unappreciated, well, then that's not where you were supposed to be at in the first place. So we want to be careful with that one. But I can appreciate what they're saying. So yeah, it is nice for somebody to show gratitude when you do something and it feels good to be appreciated. So I want to point that out too. But just be careful with that one. In my point of view. Now that's my point of view. I ain't saying it for nobody else. And then it says, find and build community. Find and build community. And I think that is so important, because if you find and you build community, there is so much that goes on in a community, and there's like purpose all over the community. So, and there's so many things that's going on. To me, you're bound to find what your purpose is, because everybody have a different problem. Everybody have a different problem and different things that need to be solved. So it's, to me, if you come together as a community, you're gonna find where you need it at in the community, and what's on the inside of you that's going to connect to that thing, and then you can find your purpose that way. And your purpose is always bigger than yourself. So you gotta think about it like that too. Your purpose is always bigger than yourself. If you got something that you're doing and it only encompasses you, then that's not your purpose. But if you find something and it goes way outside of yourself and it seems like it's way bigger than you can handle, then that's your purpose in life. And remember that part of it. And like I said, tell your story. Tell your story. And then once you tell your story and somebody hear your story and they say, oh, I know somebody else, or we can use you over here, or anything, or your story can be simply to tell your story so it could touch somebody else that's going through the same thing you're going through and dealing with the hurt and the pain of it. And then for them to see where you have came to, how far you have come from the hurt and the pain that you went through, allow them to know that they can do the same thing. And so that could be your purpose too, to just tell your story for people to hear it and know that they can overcome it too. So that's the thing. Tell your story. Tell your story. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was important, because life is hard, and people have lived 90 to 100 years and have never fulfilled their purpose in life and leave this earth. And I always said to myself, I don't want to be that person that go through life, through my whole life, and never realizing my purpose for life on this earth. I don't want to not fulfill my purpose. It's just, to me, that will be the most hurtful thing in the world. I'm on my deathbed, and what have I done? And that's how I feel about that. And maybe you got some people that don't mind that, and we won't stand in judgment of them. But it's just so much to be done on this earth. So much hurt, so much pain that's being inflicted. There's so much neglect, and it's so much to be purposeful about in this world. So let's go and let's just find our purpose. And I wanted to read that one more thing that I said no, I'm not gonna read that, but I wanted to read that to you. So see if I can find it. It says, join the Purpose Challenge. Want to help high schoolers find purpose? The GGSC's Purpose Challenge for students, educators, and parents incorporates cutting-edge science into videos and interactive exercises. Students can get help with their college essays and sign up to $25,000 in essay money. So let me see if I can find where that is. Okay, so I thought it was gonna give me something somewhere to I'm still strolling down. But like I say, this author is Jeremy Allen Smith, UC Berkeley. So, but yeah, and I really appreciated that article. So if you Google it, you'll find, if you Google how to find my purpose, you'll see the article, and it's about mind and body, and it's a Greater Good magazine. Science-based insight for a meaningful life. So yeah, we want to live a meaningful life. We don't want to walk around with hurt in our chest and just be paining and not knowing what to do with it. And a lot of times that pain is in your chest for a reason, for you to get it out and tell your story to somebody. It all depends. And make sure when you telling your story, tell your story to somebody who deserves to hear your story. Everybody don't deserve to hear your story. So you got to be careful with that too. So but anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me on my channel, and I appreciate every moment, every second that you guys come and hang out with me on my channel. And don't forget to listen at it to the end. I don't know if I said that at the beginning or whatever. But don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button down below. Hit the notification. Comment down below. Hit the notification button and click the bell off to the right of the notification button. And don't forget to share with your family and friends, and let them know what your girl Scent is doing, because we over here being positive and loving and kind. And that's what we do. We want to make a difference in the world. That's what we do. We just want to make a difference in the world. That's all we want to do. We don't want to cause hurt, pain. We just want to make a difference in the world and just love on people. Just love on people. If they need hugs, we got them. If they need help, we're going to do our best to do that. We ain't got millions over here, but hey, we can help you with what we got. And if we know organizations or whatever, we can help with that too. But I'm just saying, and just do that in your community. If you see somebody, kids don't have shoes on, or they walk around looking dirty or something, don't be afraid to say, hey, can I help? And don't be afraid to hear no. Don't be afraid to hear no. You know, you ask. If they say no, don't get mad and upset. You know, just be like, okay. And, you know, or whatever. Don't, you know, I'm telling you. And you know what? And just before you go out, and just pray and ask God to show you somebody that needs your help. And guess what? It will happen. It will happen. And if you're not a Christian, that's okay too. Just find your positive energy and try to send positive energy out, so positive energy come back, and you'll be able to send that positive energy out to help people and be sensitive, and you'll see people that need help. So but yeah, so thank you guys so much. I'm not gonna hold you, because I'll be talking to y'all all day, all night. I'll be hanging on to you because I love you so much. I love you guys so much. I love you. Okay, so this is Talk Time with Cynthia, and I'm choking again. Get this water, and I love you guys so much. Bye.